what his major oil company executive intel, who we know the source, this is real intel, it's been very accurate predictions in the past, what he told him about the oil spill 2 weeks ago and the new developments since then. Lindsey Williams, go ahead, sir.
The Gulf of Mexico oil disaster, the real story of what happened out there. What comes out of the Gulf of Mexico oil gusher with the oil, this is causing the death of humans and unborn babies. Yes, I'm concerned about the ecology. I sure am. But I am more concerned about what it's doing to human beings. Now, let me give very brief background. In 1970, the Russians drilled the first, what is known as super deep oil well. They drilled it down to 40,230 feet. It was called Coal SG3. Since then, because of what they found, Russian oil major Yukos has drilled 310 successful deep wells and put them in production. And last year, Russia overtook Saudi Arabia as the world's biggest single oil producer and is now set to be the producer for the next century. What did they find when they got to 40,230 feet? They did not find fossil fuel. There are no rotted trees and plants and animals down that deep. They found abiotic oil. Please write this down. abiotic oil. This is oil that has been formed by a chemical process somewhere in the heart of the earth. And as a result of this, Russia has become the oil producer they are. Now, this oil is seeping up into shallow oil wells, such as Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Mexico, many in America. Peak oil is a total misnomer. Now, Russia had sense enough, and I don't hesitate using these words. Russia had sense enough to drill their Coal SG3 well down to 40,000 feet on the land, not in the Gulf of Mexico. At this point, I contacted the Mr. X in my book, Energy Non-Crisis, and found out the real story, what has happened. The difference was BP has attempted to do in the Gulf of Mexico in water, ocean water, what Russia did on the land. BP was so stupid as to attempt to drill a super deep well. First time it's ever been done besides anybody but Russia. And they attempted to drill a super deep well off of a floating platform that was not anchored to the bottom of the ocean, and it was controlled, its position, by very sophisticated GPS equipment. Now, the water at that point where they attempted to drill is 5,000 feet deep. That's approximately 1 mile. 5,280 feet, 1 mile. They drilled 5,000 feet. It was 5,000 feet to the bottom of the ocean. And they drilled from that point between 25 and 30,000 feet deep into the ocean. Now think of it for a moment. You're flying on that jet aircraft, commercial airliner, cross country. You look out the window when the pilot says we have reached cruising altitude. And what do you see? You can hardly see the ground. Do you realize that's 30,000 feet? And that's exactly where they had drilled approximately the depth of what you see from that jet aircraft as you're traveling on a commercial airliner. It's preposterous. Now, I've got to stop here long enough, Alex, to say the government of the United States of America issued the permits to BP to drill that well, and I have not made this statement on any program before, I don't think. But I've come to this conclusion. The government of the United States of America is just as much to blame for this Gulf of Mexico oil disaster as BP. They issued the permits. They gave them the permission to do it. They knew where they were going. They knew how deep they were going. They knew that they could not possibly know what they were going to hit down there. And when BP got down 25 to 30,000 feet, let me give you the size of the pipe. You need to know these details as we go along. This pipe that they were putting into the ocean floor is 20 inches in diameter. It is 2 inches thick of solid, hardened steel. In a moment, I'll tell you what's happening to that pipe. But right now, let me go back to where we were. Desert Strata. They hit something so catastrophic, so unexpected. This is positively an accident. Folks, don't don't for 1 minute's time say that they did this intentionally. They did not. Every one of my oil sources, including the individual whom I've been able to contact with Halliburton, every one of them said this happened by accident. They did not know what they were hitting. This is not a conspiracy. This positively is something that they didn't know they were going to hit. They hit a strata of oil. Now, notice that word strata. You're going to hear more of it even in the news as they come out with this. They hit a strata of oil that was such high pressure that it burst every safety valve they had. The pressure behind that oil is so high that it destroyed the maximum effort of human science to contain it. And let's compare it, for instance.
Well, Lindsey, let's stop there. We've got to go to break. We're going to come right back to you to continue. So you're basically recapped what you covered a week ago with us, a week and a half ago. We're going to continue now with the new developments with Lindsey Williams and then your phone calls. This just breaking at prisonplanet.com. It's also up on Infowars.com. Paul Joseph Watson, BP aware of cracks in oil well 2 months before explosion. BP was aware of cracks appearing in the well as far back as February, right around the time Goldman Sachs BP chairman dumped their stock.
They don't want to see us unite. All they want us to do is keep on fussing and fighting.
Well, I talked to Lindsey during the break, and he said this is the #1 issue, and I agree. This is all I hear my neighbors talking about, people on other talk radio shows talking about, and it's like, what is the government going to do? What is the government going to do? And their idea is carbon taxes, gas taxes, that will fully destroy our economy, and still the oil well leaks and leaks and leaks, and BP's been caught lying from the beginning, now into day 67, this is decimating the Gulf Coast. But then I did read the reports that this oil is full of all sorts of other toxic elements and chemicals and heavy metals, and it is killing dolphins and turtles en masse. It is just destroying the fishing, the agriculture. The government's done everything it can to block a good response. Lindsey Williams continuing, you got up to the point of the super high-powered pressure of this well, which they're now admitting. And then you had new developments.
Yes, Alex. When I was at Prudhoe Bay as the chaplain to the elite of the world for those 3 years' time, I watched them bring in many oil wells. The very first thing they would give, as soon as a new oil well was brought in, they would give, and please write these words down. You want to be correct whenever you say things. Alex, you'll notice that over the years, the only thing I ever give on any show is what I can prove, document, and never do I go into, I think so, I hope so, or possibly could be. I stay away from it. The first thing they would give is the flow rate. They would check how much oil is coming out of that well, how many barrels for a period of time. Second thing they would always give, and you have never heard this about the Gulf of Mexico, they always gave the pressure at the wellhead. Please write down the words wellhead. That's at the top of the pipe. They would take the pressure. Now, the pressure at Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, on the average well was 1,500 pounds per square inch, PSI. The automobile tire on your automobile has 35 pounds per square inch. Your truck tire on a big tandem tractor trailer rig, 100 pounds. Are you ready? Please write this down. From my sources, they say that the Gulf of Mexico oil disaster, BP's well, hit a pressure that human beings have never experienced before on any well they've ever driven. Russia never hit this. They hit pressures, but not this kind of pressure. BP actually hit 20,000 to 70,000 pounds per square inch. This is beyond human technology to contain it. It blew everything. It blew the safety valves. It blew holes in the pipe. Oh, please, this is a new one. I'll intersperse these as we go along. You remember a moment ago, I told you that pipe that they drilled in the bottom of the ocean was 2 inches thick and 20 inches in diameter. Solid, hardened steel. That pipe right now is no longer 2 inches thick. It is 1 inch thick. Let me explain. You remember that BP back